All right. So,
Well,
hi everyone. So I'm with Doug. He's at the Rally for Freedom in Montreal. Doug, would you be able to tell us a little bit what's happening there today?
well, sure. My name is Doug Bebb, and I was the candidate of record for the People's Party, the Parti Populaire, in the circonscription de West Vancouver-Sunshine Coast-Sea to Sky in the province of British Columbia, just by the sea. And I was at the rally in Ottawa a couple of weeks ago, and found out about the rally in Montreal. So we decided to come here to show support for the efforts to sustain human rights and liberty, and in particular to stand against the insidious organization known as the United Nations, which of course is part and parcel of the World Health Organization, and all of the draconian measures they're inflicting upon the people. And we have some signs made up. They're all very good. We had some graphic artists work on this stuff. I'm not sure if you can see this or not. And the People's Party says no to globalism.
So, is there anybody else, any other political party that support that? I'm not trying to make it too political, but I don't think anybody else is denouncing globalism right now, is there?
No, I don't think so. I think the People's Party is the only one standing in opposition to this menace that is inflicting itself upon the entire Western world. And at the rally there in Ottawa, there was a very good French speaker by the name of Alexis Cosette-Trudel, who borrowed heavily from a speech by JFK, the U.S. President John F. Fitzgerald Kennedy. And the speech was actually called the Secret Society speech. And he gave that in 1962, I think. And I realized then and there, listening to Cosette-Trudel, that the French part of Canada is far more tuned to the threat that we face. And English Canada is really asleep. So I'm very pleased to be here to talk to a number of like-minded individuals and to do what I can to help the cause of freedom and liberté. Huh?
So that's nice. So you're an Anglophone. You're in Montreal right now. I'm in Alberta. And that's the whole point of me starting my channel, is to have a great conversation and bring everybody from coast to coast all
Yeah.
together. And I think we're able to do that today. Would you be able to talk a little bit about the other speakers who were there today? I think there's Vlad Sobolev started Hugs Over Mask. I think he was speaking a couple of minutes ago. He was brought up in a communist country, and he denounces what's happening today. I think most people are not aware of the patterns that are being brought up upon us by our various levels of government.
Well, you know, I've talked to a number of people from the Eastern Bloc European countries, you know, over the course of history. And the strange thing they tell me is that they actually felt more free under the communist yoke because they could at least talk among themselves at home, you know, without the fear, the pressure of what has gripped the Western world. This political correctness is actually more restrictive than they believe their circumstances to be under communist rule in Eastern Europe. So you have to watch out that this doesn't really stifle debate and, you know, curtail our freedoms. And it's getting to the point where we need to stand up and do something about this.
Yes, I think you're bringing a good point. And one of the problems we're facing in Canada is that people don't know how to recognize those patterns, because nobody has ever had to defend freedom, individual responsibility, individual liberties, freedom of expression, justice over social justice. Nobody's ever had to defend those concepts at home. So everybody's sleeping in the wheel, and they don't understand what's happening. And I think it's our job to explain it and get people to see what's happening.
Well, you're from Calgary, you tell me.
I'm living in Fort McMurray, but I'm originally from Quebec.
Okay, well then you know that the Quebecers have faced the same problem with attacks upon their culture for a long time.
Yes.
It's something new to English Canada. And we're not prepared for it. We're not aware as much as the French are. And I think it's great. And I think, you know, in this fight against globalism, we're going to have to rely upon our French compatriots pretty much to lead the way, because they have the experience in this sort of defense. And like I say, I'm just pleased to be here and to talk to some of them in my broken French, which I struggle with.
No, and I appreciate that, and that's the thing. So what I realized when I first moved to Alberta, that was in 2006. I realized that Albertans and Quebecers were not that different. It's just that we had the media and the government to divide us because we couldn't talk directly to each other. So I think in the next coming years, people are going to have a lot of leverage, are going to be people that are bilingual, people that can connect and build bridges between the two different cultures that are not so different from each other after all.
Well, we need to stay together, because as much as we've had differences, Anglophone and Francophone in the past, these difficulties can be overcome, and they actually pale in comparison to the real threat we face now from the insidious United Nations. And, I've kept abreast of all the developments in the separatist movement in the West. I've attended several conferences there, and it's clear that you don't want to do a separatist move that leaves you in a worse negotiating position, which I think a smaller country would be vis-a-vis the outside threat we face from the United Nations. And so a united Canada is probably, a more effective entity to deal with this outside threat than a divided, country with separate Alberta and separate Quebec. So, I think we should work together to curb these outside threats that really, they affect all the Western countries all around the world, right from New Zealand, Australia, up through Europe. And that's what the PPC is. It's a populist party that is kind of sprung together to basically save Canada. That's what my goal is. We can't allow ourselves to be divided and conquered. And I guess we say, le peuple uni sera toujours vainqueur.
Oh, yes, I've heard that. Un peuple uni sera toujours vainqueur. Yeah,
right.
United people will always win. And
that's right, or be victorious. Yeah.
You
prevail.
know a little bit about the social contract. I think it was a French philosopher that wrote that. He says people have 100% of the power 100% of the time, and they give government.
Well, now I got to tell you that the crowd's turned around. They're coming back past us.
Oh, right on.
The audio is going to get difficult. If you want to have a more in-depth chat, it might be better to do it when I'm back to my laptop, and we can do it in kind of a more sensible environment.
Absolutely.
But here we go, the crowd. I'll just.
All right.
It's kind of breaking up now, and they're leaving the CBC building. On a really nice day here in Montreal, and a big crowd and very good. So, thank you.
All right, perfect. So we'll talk again later.